Alrighty. So welcome to the call, guys. Thank you so much for calling in. It's so great to see all your faces. It's always good to get on here and talk with you guys face to face. I know it's funny because even Lindsay, like we always talk about this. Lindsay's one of my coaches, but we've actually never met in person, which is so funny. I feel like I've known her for 20 years. So that's one of the really amazing parts for anyone that's new on this call. Beachbody is amazing for a lot of reasons because they have amazing programs, a great shake that literally can change your life. But one of the great parts about Beachbody and why it stands out from so many other companies is because of the community that comes with these programs. So, I mean, you'll make lasting friendships with people, and that's why it's so exciting to get to upcoming events too. So Summit is next week for those who don't know, and this is why I'm rocking my cowgirl hat. Really, really excited about the event and to, get to hang out with the trainers and to work out with them and meet all of my coaches and other people that I haven't yet met. So just wanted to give a little introduction into that and why it's so important to get to Beachbody events. And there's a Super Saturday coming up as well, so that would be great for you guys to get to, and that's something that's local, so definitely take advantage of that opportunity as well. Does anyone want to recognize anyone before I get started in the information? If you want to, please unmute yourself.
Hi. Hi, Heather. I want to recognize Carrie and Sam because they are so flipping close to diamond that I can feel it. I also want to give a shout out to Cindy, who's one of my new coaches, who is already halfway to Emerald, and she's only been doing this like a week. And also Lisa, who already has, and she's also a new coach. She already has 2 challengers going on. So I am just so excited for my team right now. So I just wanted to give a shout out.
Awesome. Anybody else want to give a shout out for anyone on the call? I know I definitely do. So one of my new coaches is on the call, trying to find my post now so I don't butcher her results. But Holly Lynch is one of my new coaches, and Holly and I started talking a while back on Facebook and about her life and how she wanted to make these positive changes. But she was really scared to take that next step and to try something new. And, basically the opportunity came along, and she's been doing the 21-day fix, and she just got done her first round, and she lost 13.4 pounds and 11 inches in 21 days. And that is just amazing to me. And I'm so excited for her. And she's decided to come on as a coach now and to pay it forward and help other people. And Holly's just one of those people that I know is going to be fantastic because she just has this heart of gold and really wants to help people. And now is such a believer of the product. So I think she's really going to go far. I'm so excited to have her as part of this team. So welcome, Holly. Thank you. So tonight I wanted to jump on the call. I wanted to kind of have a more interactive call. So I'm going to talk about a few things about what I feel is important with getting started in this business and overcoming your fears and insecurities. And then I'm actually going to have one of our team members and one of my coaches, Lindsay Benson, speak on the call because Lindsay last month was having a really difficult month, and, I'll let her tell the story. But, I just felt like she was kind of doubting herself, doubting the opportunity. And we talked a lot about, balancing her lifestyle with this business and how it was all going to continue to work for her and how she was going to make it work, and just still be excited about it and not think of this as something that's another stress in her life. And basically I just saw, I gave her a few tips as her coach, but, I just saw this huge shift in her mental state and what she wanted to gain from this opportunity and her belief in it and in herself. And it really is mind-blowing how much her business shifted in just a short period of time. So you guys are going to hear from her as well. But just when it comes to fears and insecurities, I honestly think it all stems from a lack of belief. When you believe in yourself, if you're not believing in yourself, you're not believing in the products, and you're not believing in the opportunity, it's really difficult to push forward and succeed in this business. I know when I first became a Beachbody coach, my friends and family literally thought I was brainwashed by Beachbody. Like, they were like, this girl is crazy. Like, she's posting on Facebook 3 times a day. This is all she talks about. Like, you know, she's obsessed with these programs. She drinks a shake. Like, what is this? And they were like, this is a cult, Heather. Like, no. And I was like, no. Like, this is amazing. Like, so positive, and it's changing my life, and I just need this. And yeah, and because they love me, they supported me, and they're like, okay, crazy, like, we'll see how long this lasts. And of course now 15, 16 months later, they know I'm serious about it. But for me, I believed right away, and I believed, you know, we talk about our why a lot, and why we wanted to make a change in our life, and, you know, that strong thing that's so close to our heart, which made us want to make a change, whether that's starting a Beachbody program because we weren't feeling great about ourselves from a health and fitness standpoint, and then seeing the opportunity in the business because, you know, maybe it's you're really not financially stable, you really want to help people and to give them the feeling that you got from these programs because you just feel so amazing and it's been life changing for you, full circle, whatever it may be for you. It's so important to connect with that because that's really what I connected with so early on. I was talking to Jeff Pearson, who's one of the vice presidents from corporate the other week, and he was like, so tell me about yourself. And I was like, well, this. And he's like, wow, not many coaches have all of those things. So for the people that don't really know my story yet, in a nutshell, for me, being a Beachbody coach is a no-brainer. Like, so I grew up and I had a lot of insecurities about myself. I never felt like, and I was never really obese. I never felt good about myself. I always lacked self-esteem. I always lacked self-confidence. I let people put me down and walk all over me. I never had an inner voice. I never really stuck up for what I believed in and really was true to myself. There were definitely times that I took a leadership role in my life when it came to sports and certain things, but you know, when it came to like finding out who I am, I was a follower. I just really didn't know what direction to go in. And then college hit and it was even a more downward spiral. I made a lot of bad decisions. I racked up credit cards. I gained weight. The freshman 15, yeah, that was me. And then I tried every fad diet in history, and obviously nothing worked because they're fad diets for a reason. And I developed an eating disorder, and I was basically a combination of bulimia and anorexia, but more bulimic than anything else. And really, all of my insecurities and fears were just taking over my life, literally. And it became such a big part of my life and engulfed me that I didn't even know what direction to go in. I went to University of Tampa. I moved home. My dad basically said, I'm not paying for your college anymore if you don't get your shit together. So I moved home and really tried to make a life for myself and moved to Boston, even though I was living paycheck to paycheck, but I felt like this was what I needed to do in order to make a drastic change in my life. So I really I kind of put myself at rock bottom, to be honest. And I struggled and I struggled and I struggled. So when my coach reached out to me, to get to my point here, when my coach reached out to me and she said, okay, well, you can start a program and get healthy and fit, which was something that I needed. You can help people overcome all of the fears that you had and the insecurities and not knowing, you know, what direction to go in, not knowing how to lose weight the healthy way, building up their self-confidence. You know, I wanted to go back to school to be a nutritionist and do all these things because I wanted to help people, but I didn't have the money to do it, and I would cry about that. So for me, Beachbody was a way to do it all. It literally was my opening in order to overcome all of these fears and insecurities that I had and then help people do the same. And I was so excited about that. And early on, it just became the strong passion of mine because I was able to connect with what Beachbody provides for people. It's so easy for people to say, oh, you know, it's a cult, like, yeah, like these are programs, but you could just go to the gym or you could just do something else. And, you know, I'm sure Holly like is sitting there right now being like, it's different. Like it is different. Once you go through it, once you go through the process and you understand not only are these products great and they're different from other products because they actually do work and they help you create a healthy lifestyle instead of you just doing this fad diet or something. And then there's a community of people. I mean, that part of it is just amazing. And when I did a program and I felt that from my coach, and I felt the community people and people just really wanting to help you and to give back, I was like, yes, this is what I want to be doing. So what I'm trying to get across to you guys is, when you have those fears, when you have those insecurities about yourself, about this business, remember why you started. Remember why you wanted to get involved with this. Connect with your why. And it may make you realize maybe this isn't really for you, but I'm pretty sure everyone on this call, I know it is for them. Just, you need to love it. Like, you need to love what you're doing and celebrate the journey. And I think that's one of like the hardest parts to deal with. And I think part of what Lindsay was going through last month was, every part of this, it's like anything in life. It's not going to be all rainbows and sunshines all the time. Your business isn't going to be exploding every week. It has its tough points. You're running a business, guys. Like, that's one of the biggest things I think is really hard for people to kind of wrap their head around in the beginning. And I think coaches have a hard time talking about it with their coaches because they don't want to overwhelm them. They don't want them to be scared. But really, when you start to look at this as a business that can actually really change your life, that's when things really happen. Like, you can treat it as a hobby if you want to, but you're not going to get the results of working your own business, if that makes sense. So you need to decide exactly what you want to gain from this experience. And it can't necessarily just be money. Obviously most people work, most people want to be their own boss, to have not only the personal freedom, but the financial freedom. And I get that. That's me. I mean, I want so much money that I don't even know what to do with. And that's just because I just can't even imagine that life. And I've just been in debt for so long that, I'm now starting to see the light in this life that Beachbody can provide me that I honestly was starting to think was never possible. But again, it takes work, and it's not a quick fix, but it can absolutely happen. So I want you guys to remember this when you're having those tough moments in your business or in just life in general, and you don't think you can balance all this, or you're starting to doubt yourself, and maybe you believe in the opportunity because you see other coaches doing well, but you're like, oh, maybe it's not me though. Maybe I just can't do it. I'm telling you right now, anyone can do this. You just need to really want it bad enough, and you need, to help other people, but also to want a better life for you and your family. You need to have a passion for it, basically. There needs to be something that's driving you forward more than finances. It has to be to give, to provide that life for your family, to have the freedom to spend that time with them. I'm telling you right now, if you give this business a year, 2 years, you will have a lifetime of freedom. And that's the truth. And I've seen situation over situation. I've seen coaches' numbers. I'm witnessing it for myself. So, this isn't me just bullshitting you guys and saying, well, it's working for me and hopefully it works for them, but I don't know. I mean, I'm telling you, like, different personality types, different ages, different men and women, anyone has been successful in this business, all different backgrounds. There are lawyers who are now millionaires through Beachbody, and they probably never thought that they would, in the beginning, I'm sure those are the people that snuffed up at this in the beginning were like, I could never make as much money doing this as I was making as a lawyer. But they have, and now they have this life of freedom that they definitely were not getting by being a lawyer. So that's one of the most amazing parts of going to these functions too, and these events and meeting people, because you meet all different people. I mean, when I tell you the range of different personalities, like I said, different ages, men and women, but they have one thing in common, and it's that they wanted a better life for themselves, and they wanted to be positive every day, and they wanted to wake up with a purpose and be excited about that and have something to look forward to and have the personal and financial freedom to spend with their family or travel the world or do whatever it is they want to do. Everyone has that in common, and that's an amazing experience, guys, to be around. It literally is life-changing. I was a coach for, I think, a month and a half, and my coach was like, you need to go to Summit. And I was like, Elizabeth, you don't understand. Like, I am broke. Like, I am, like, living paycheck to paycheck, and I already have, like, credit cards racked up. Like, what do you want me to do? And she's like, charge it. I'm like, what are you saying? I'm just telling you, like, that's not the right decision for me. She's like, no, you have to get there, Heather. I went, and literally it was life-changing for me. And it's hard to explain before you're there. And you guys will see my posts and everything, and you'll get really excited about it, because my business literally exploded because when you're doing something awesome, people want to be a part of that. So that's why it's so important to post and share your story and, you know, share the results that you got from these programs. That's what people relate to. They don't necessarily relate to, ooh, the 21-day fix is on sale. Yeah, okay, well, if you just say that, they're probably going to go buy it from Amazon because they even think they're getting a better deal, which is not true most of the time. But they want to connect with you and your story. So that's, you know, a really important part of the business, guys, is like continuing to not only have that passion, but to share that passion to get others really excited to join your journey. So 3 things that I want you guys to keep in mind before I let Lindsay kind of take it away. When starting as a new coach or trying to overcome your fears, or even becoming a great leader for your team, maybe you've been a coach for a little bit. Number 1, if you do not go after what you want, you will never have it. And that's the truth. You guys, like, you know, like I'm saying, there's so much opportunity with this business, but it's not going to just come to you. I can only do so much as your leader and as your coach. I want this for you guys so much. And the coaches that I've already worked really closely with me know that I will go above and beyond. I will message you every 5 seconds if I need to in order for you to be successful. But you need to meet me 50-50. You need to put in the time, to put in the work, and basically to believe and to have that passion for this. Number 2, if you do not ask, the answer will always be no. A lot of people are scared to reach out to people, to start conversations with them, to invite them to challenge groups, to talk to them about programs, guys. But honestly, if you don't ask them, someone else will. Or if you don't ask them, they'll never become a customer of yours, okay? People need your help, but they're not going to necessarily reach out to you because people are ashamed, or they're scared, or they don't like the unknown. But, you know, building that relationship with them and putting the interest in their ear and making them actually really think about it goes a really long way with people. I'm telling you, like, people may not buy right away, but they will buy. If you continue to keep that relationship with you, I'm telling you, it works. Because this whole business is built around relationships and numbers. And what I mean by numbers is the more people you talk to, the better you will do. And like I always tell people, so people will sometimes ask me, how do you hit Success Club? I've hit Success Club 10 or higher every month since I've been a coach. How do you do it? And what I always tell them is, you know, in the beginning it was easy for me a little bit because I was new to this and I just got people excited about. Holly's witnessing this right now. She's like, oh my God, I never realized I would have got this much interest just off one post. And that's how it was for me in the beginning. And then after that, it gets harder and harder, but it's not if you're consistent, guys. The people that buy from me today are the people I started talking to 3-4 months ago, maybe a month ago, but usually it's months. And continuing to build that relationship and continuing to talk to them about, okay, how is your life going now? Is this the right time? Do you feel like you can do it? You need to build people's, you know, self-esteem up and get them excited and show them what these programs can do for you. And sometimes it's even more silent than that. Sometimes they just watch your posts every day. And then finally they're like, okay, I get it. Like, I understand this is life-changing and I want to be a part of it. So one of the biggest, most important things besides having belief is to be consistent in this business. And I'm telling you right now, the coaches that don't do well, that aren't doing well, and that continue to struggle are the ones that don't do this, okay? Consistency is key. It's so, so important, guys. If you're talking to people, people will buy eventually. I'm telling you right now, it happens. They won't. Like, you need to continue to believe in them and to keep in touch with them, but it will happen. Don't forget about them. This is why it's so important to be organized, to have a list of the names of people that you've talked to, make a little note by it. I'm an Excel spreadsheet, like, guru. I love Excel. I know it's kind of probably old at this point. There are other things, but I put notes like, you know, I've talked to them on this date. This is maybe the excuse they gave me, or this is where they are. And I say, okay, follow up on this date. You guys really need to be doing that. You're going to forget about people, then they'll never reach out to you. You know, there's so many leads out there that you guys just might not realize. So, you know, definitely have those conversations with people. Sorry. And number 3, if you do not step forward, you will always be in the same place. This is really important, guys, because it's so easy to get stuck where you are. And I've seen coaches and coaches over again too. And I feel like there are some right now that they get really excited about the success they've gained, and then they just stagnate, and then they don't continue to keep pushing forward. Emerald is the first huge goal, and it's amazing to hit Emerald, you know, as a new coach. Like, that's the first step. And then usually the next step is Diamond. And Diamond is definitely one of a big goal in Beachbody for sure. It's really where your business starts to really grow, where you start to become more of a leader, and you see the light, like you see what this opportunity can really do for you guys. But that's not where it ends. This business has so much opportunity. So you never want to feel like, oh, I hit that goal. Okay, let's kind of do nothing for like 5 weeks and see what happens. No, like, you need to keep fighting. You need to keep setting new goals. Like, you know, like I said, Lindsay's business just exploded, and she didn't even, like, I don't think really realize that was going to happen. So she needs to reevaluate now her business and how things are going to set new goals for herself. You know, I mean, like, this is something that's constantly changing in your business and in your life, even personally, okay? So, like, for me, my why in the beginning was literally to be able to have any kind of freedom, to leave my advertising job that was very demanding, that I really didn't enjoy, didn't have any passion for, to start paying off my debt and to be able to travel the world. I now live in London. I was able to quit my job. I now live in London. Like, you know, these things are coming true. And now I have like crazy big goals of like retiring my mother, and, you know, something that I can't even tell you guys how much that would mean to me to be able to retire my mom after everything that she's done for me. Like, that why is so strong for me and so close to my heart. Like, that's what's pushing me right now. Like, you know, of course I will have my own family too, but like, that's in the back of my mind. Like, that's a long-term goal for me, is to like be able to retire her. So your business is always changing. Your why is always changing. And you need to really, guys, connect with these things, especially when you're having your hard moments where you're doubting yourself, where you're maybe doubting this opportunity. You know, most of you I know probably wouldn't doubt the products at this point, because I know you've all had success with them. But, you know, you really need to connect with what you want to achieve in your life and read personal development as much as possible as well. And I'll finish with something after, but I'm going to let Lindsay talk so we don't go too over time here, because I can babble forever. So take it away, Lindsay.
All right. Hey, everybody. So I figure I'd just start my story with when I started with Beachbody, which was in January, it was the end of January. And it took me just over a month to hit Diamond, which now looking back was like really quick. And at the time I didn't realize it. And that is an accomplishment that I can now be proud of. But at the time I didn't, you know, realize that it was as good as it was. So then I had a couple months like smooth sailing after that. I was hitting Success Club. Things were like cruising for me. I had my girls, Sam and Carrie, and they were with me and we were rocking it. And then May hit and things just felt like they tanked for me. My mindset was off. I didn't hit Success Club. I went from Diamond to Emerald, so I lost rank. And I just was in a really crappy place. So I, you know, spoke with Heather about this. What am I doing? What am I not doing? And one of the things that kept being brought up between us that she so kindly kept telling me until it would sink in was, you need to share the business opportunity. You need to share the business opportunity. You need to share the business opportunity. I really wasn't doing a good job at that. So I kind of took that information and wanted to think about it and think of how I could approach things. And in the meantime, you know, let me just start by saying that my shift happened in phases. So what happened first actually is a personal thing. At home, my husband and I were kind of in this weird place. Not a relationship, but I was unhappy and he was unhappy with what was going on like individually inside of us. So I finally sat him down and talked about it. I'm like, we need to clear the air in our personal space. So just a quick backstory. Last year, I had twins, and my twin pregnancy was horrible. I was sick for the first 20 weeks. I had chronic back pain, and then I was on bed rest for 2 months. I've always been a really active person, so this just set me back so much. another time for another story, but it was a hard place to be. So Beachbody actually has been the platform that has brought me back to life, literally. I am so much happier. My husband actually even tonight just said, you're like back to yourself. You're like in the swing again. You're so much more confident. So I have Beachbody to thank for that. So anyway, I'm sitting here on the couch with my husband telling him, I've been working so hard on myself. I need you to do the same for yourself. We both need to be happy for this to work. And I said, I know I'm not a life coach, but I'm helping a lot of people right now. Maybe I can help you too. And I suggested doing some personal development. And he's not a big reader. That's fine. Not all of us are. But I recommended doing some podcasts. And instead of listening to Howard Stern in the morning, he could listen to like Entrepreneur on Fire or something like that would interest him. And he listened to me and he started doing that. And let me tell you guys, like, it's literally been a 180. His mindset has positively changed. So what that did for me, it took this weight off of my shoulders because he was happy and I could refocus on the business. So next, here I am. Again, I didn't hit Success Club. I lost my rank. And I had to really sit back and reevaluate. I had to like pivot my focus. Something's not working. What is it? Let me figure it out. What I love about Beachbody is that all of us are so different in this community. Heather was just talking about how she wasn't a confident person growing up. I was just the opposite. I always had a lot of confidence. My issue has been perfectionism. I feel the need to be perfect at everything I do. And what I realized is that perfectionism was actually I was using it as a shield. I was using it as a shield so that I didn't get judged. I was afraid of what people thought. I was afraid of failing my team. I was afraid of failing, Sam and Carrie, and that they'd blame me if things didn't work out. All of these things were blocking me. There were roadblocks to growing and to continuing with advancing in this business. So this is where personal development came in. I actually remember having a conversation with Heather, and it was funny because she's like, are you doing personal development? And I'm like, yeah, but I'm reading a lot about business stuff. And it got me thinking, like, I need to do something internal. I need different personal development. Enter the gifts of imperfection. If you're a perfectionist, I highly recommend this book, big time, because it really taught me that there's a difference between trying to be perfect and trying to constantly improve yourself. So I had to basically shift my mindset from what are people going to think to how can I improve my business? Okay. So that was like an aha moment for me. So once I realized that, I reconnected with why I love being a Beachbody coach. And that's the connections that I make with people. So specifically, our challenge group guys, they're amazing. Like, I know that Beachbody has a template that you can like work off of for your challenge groups, but that very early on didn't work for me. My whole team and we developed a calendar. We made it personal. It's amazing. Like, the camaraderie and community that we create in these challenge groups are incredible. And I just really quickly want to, from the book I just mentioned, I want to read to you this little excerpt. It defines connection. And it says, I define connection as the energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued, when they give and receive without judgment, and when they derive sustenance and strength from the relationship. And I was like, holy smokes, this is Beachbody in a nutshell. I was feeling it in the challenge groups, but not only that, I loved the relationship that I built with Sam and Carrie. And I'm like, crap, I have to duplicate this. Like, this is what I've been missing. It's the community. It's the connection. Why am I afraid of sharing that with people? So immediately I started talking to my challengers. I was like, guys, this connection that we have in the challenge group, this is how it is on the business side too. You love it here, you're going to love it here too if you give it a shot. And so I was coming from an authentic place. I was being honest. I was doing exactly what I was doing on the health and fitness side, the health and fitness coaching side, and I just brought it on over to the business side. And that has been amazing. It's just catapulted me. All of a sudden, I have 3 new coaches, and they're wonderful, and they're all so excited. So all I can say is that, 1, make sure your personal life, whatever's going on at home, make sure you can come to peace and, be in a peaceful place there. 2, I highly recommend building these strong connections in your challenge groups. Don't think of the challenge groups as just like, all right, well, they signed on, so, whatever, I'm just going to let them flow. Build the relationship there because it's all about relationships. And then 3, don't worry about judgment because you really are gifting people with this opportunity. You're presenting it to them. And if they say no, they say no. They're not going to hate you for it, So that sort of is where I'm coming from. I hope that helps. And if anyone has questions, I'm an open book. So
yeah, absolutely. Lindsay, that was great. Thank you so much. I think that really makes a lot of sense. I don't know if I've ever explained it in those simple terms before with people who, because I mean, there are other people that I don't think made on the call, like Erica. I know Gallian is having a hard time, I think, sharing the coach opportunity too. So I think coaches, if they can kind of relate to that, like, well, because our challenge groups are amazing. So just kind of bringing that into sharing the coach opportunity and using this like similar tactics that you're doing in your challenge groups, I think goes a long way. And I just wanted you to elaborate, if you don't mind, on what are you guys doing different besides the templates? Like, you don't need to go in complete detail, but like, how are you adding more value basically?
So the way we do it, we sort of were able to break down into different topics. So we have first of all, we do a preseason week, which we always do a preseason week for all of our newbies because honestly, without understanding the nutrition plan ahead of time, I just think it's so hard to catch up and you can't totally be successful at it until halfway through. So that's step number 1. 2, like I said, we have a calendar that we created, and in that calendar, it breaks it down by topics. There's almost like a rhythm to it and which day we do which topic. And the topics are motivation, nutrition, Shakeology, and then like we throw in some humor. That's sort of a little category that has developed along the way. And then from there, we're working on not improvising as much to make ourselves less crazy, but really, the calendar says what we're going to talk about that day. And then based on what's going on in the group, we post.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Does anyone else have any questions for Lindsay or questions for anything that I discussed? I would love for these calls to be more interactive and for you guys to get an opportunity to kind of ask questions and communicate with the team. So don't feel like you have to speak up, but if there's something on your mind, please share it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When you're talking about the business opportunity in the groups, do you usually do that at the end, or kind of how do you bring it up?
So for us, we have one post near to the end, and Carrie did a great job of this in the last challenge group, but we basically add it into the post about what do you want to do next? Do you want to hop in a different challenge group? Do you love what you're seeing here? This is what it's like as a coach. Ask your coach for more information. So in that way, it keeps it really light because you're just asking about what they want to do next, and that's included in it. But I also, Holly, I connect with them one-on-one about it too. Yeah. So that's more just the general, but it's also important to follow up with people one-on-one.
Okay. That's what I was just going to say. I was going to add to Holly is that's actually how Lindsay came on as a coach for me, because she did one of my challenge groups and she was posting, like she was doing everything you would do as a coach. She was posting every day, recipes and all these things, like inspiring posts, like really engaging with the challenge group. And I was like, girl, like you got to do this. And she was like, really? So I definitely reached out to her personally. Like if you see something in someone and you really think that they will take advantage of this opportunity or want to learn more, definitely take advantage of having a personal one-on-one communication with them. Because if you just post something in a page, not everyone will respond to that. So I mean, I think one of the most challenging parts of this business, honestly, is reading people and kind of knowing how people engage. And I think it's something that's hard to teach people too. I just think the further you get along in your business, you kind of realize how to work with people.
I think, Heather, too, to your point, that goes back to building the relationship within the challenge group, and that by kind of being really creative within your challenge group, you learn a lot more about people and they'll speak more and be more open because they feel this larger sense of community and support. So I think it kind of all definitely comes back to that too. And once you start learning more about people, you can actually see why they might want to coach, because we all have our different reasons. You know, some of it is financial. Some of it is people I'm talking to that it's just about accountability. Like they want the accountability, you know, by becoming a coach. Some of it, they want to just cover their Shakeology costs. I have another person I'm talking to who loves to write. Like she wants to be a writer. So this could be an opportunity for her to inspire people with her writing, you know, while making some extra money. So I think by learning so much more about people and building that relationship, that's gonna be key to knowing, I don't want to say the angle to bring up, but like, you know, how Beachbody can best fit them and how they, you know.
Absolutely. That's a really good point. So Holly, that's something as a new coach to think about as well. Why, again, connecting with people's why, understanding them, what motivates them, what would get them excited about wanting to become a coach. Because yeah, I mean, pushing the financial thing on everyone's not going to work because some people don't give a shit. Like, you know, one of my coaches is really well off financially, or a few of my coaches are. So for them, yeah, I mean, it's just, money is always desirable. Let's not kid ourselves. But when you don't really need it that much, if you're already making six figures, it's not as big as a driver for you. Like you have to connect with other things. So for other people, like, you know, Lindsay's saying, it might be the accountability piece is huge. There are definitely days that I'm like, screw this, I'm not working out. But when you know you have this whole team counting on you, like you just do it. So that part of coaching I absolutely loved in the beginning, and I still love. So that's a really good point. And Lindsay,
sorry, Heather.
Yeah.
To your point again, being accountable, I've heard that in our challenge groups too. They love that we're right there with them. Like we post our sweaty selfies. We like are posting our foods and what we're eating. And like, we're not just telling them what to do. We are doing it with them. And I think that's really important too, to make sure that they feel that you're a part of their journey and doing it with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start my first challenge group because I just pretty much started coaching today. And I guess my biggest fear is that like I'll have like one or two people in my challenge group. How did you guys start your first challenge group, and what did you do to make it successful?
Yeah, Holly, that's why I said like the first one we'll do together, because it's really hard to just, it's really what's the word I'm looking for? It's really rare to start your own completely from like day one, because you could get a lot of people, but I think it's good to just do it with someone in the beginning to kind of get a feeling for what they do and how to post and how to engage with people, like Lindsay's saying. And you'll kind of find like who it works with you going forward in order to combine the groups with. Like in Beachbody, we also have people called success partners. So maybe you'll find a success partner, and we can discuss that offline. And you know, someone that you can relate to that's another coach, and you guys can start doing groups together, or whatever it may be. But you and I, since I'm your coach, we can do one together in the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, because they definitely are more engaging when there's more people. Because
yeah, that's what I'm afraid of, that I'll have like two people and be like, hey.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. Like, and I will say, I don't think I'm as amazing as Lindsay and Carrie and what they're doing with their challenge groups. I know it's something that I need to work on. But I have a 225 challenge group going right now, and I swear no one said one word. Like, they like the post, but they've not posted. And I even post pictures of myself, and I'm like doing these things. I'm trying to engage them. I even like said I would give people like a free basket of stuff, and like nothing, like crickets. But there's only like 6 people in there. So the more people, the better, because not everyone is going to engage. And again, this is kind of getting to know people, right? Because what we were just talking about, I always reach out to people personally too, especially if I put them in the group to say, hey, how are things going? I see you haven't, posted in the group and interacted. You'll get more out of it if you do. And some people just say, I'm not comfortable. Like I'm reading the posts. I just, they're helping me. I just don't feel comfortable posting or anything. So it's fine. Everyone will be different. Maybe they will come around. You never know. But Holly, just so you know, when you run these groups too, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, you can see who in the group is checking posts. So my biggest thing is when I know someone's not even looking at the page. That's a huge red flag for me. So I'll definitely reach out to them and say, hey, what's going on? Like, you're not even looking at the page. So yeah, I mean, everyone will definitely act different in the group. Getting as much involvement as possible is great. And I think, you know, having at least around 15, 20 people is good. Because I don't know if, Lindsay, you have experience with this and how many people you usually have in your groups, but I know too many people can be frightening for people too. So
yeah, we're between what, like 15 and 30, I would say, are usually like our average. And not all of them talk, but I'd say like half of them definitely do, which I consider a win. Like if 15 to 20 people are interacting, then I'm a happy camper. But one thing we do is, you know, like you said, Heather, we run groups together, and you know, even these new groups that started, I have some of the new coaches in there, and today was like the first day was crickets, and I'm like, okay guys, can you go in and answer the questions to get the ball rolling? So I think no one wants to be the first to talk. So if like some of the newer coaches can break the ice and answer the questions and do the assignments that we do in preseason, then I think that breaks the ice a little bit too.
Yeah, absolutely. Excuse me. Does anyone else have any questions? I think Cynthia's so productive over there. I think she's folding laundry. I love multitasking. It's awesome. Anyone? No? All right, so, ooh, baby's bum.
Actually, I have a question.
Yeah.
When do you start the challenge groups? Like, how often would you have them? Is there like a designated calendar that you're supposed to do it?
So it all depends. I actually watched a video I've kind of done them randomly since I've been a coach. I'm not gonna lie. I just start them when I get people, because I think some coaches get scared to offer challenge groups too often. But you never want someone to be like, oh, well, I'll just wait till next month until you start a new challenge group. So the 21-day fix is one of the most popular programs, and it's really helpful for that because it's every 21 days. So, you know, you can actually start a group every 21 days if you want to. But the girl was saying, let me try to remember now. She was saying, like, she sets up like her coach sneak peeks and her challenge groups. I'll try to find the video to post on the page in a way that it makes a lot of sense, where it pushes her at the moment in her business that she needs to. So for instance, I think she starts her challenge groups like the beginning of every month. So then at the end of the month, she has to push in order to get people, which also helps you hit Success Club monthly as well. So it basically is like driving you to succeed in 2 goals that you would have each month. So you can think about it as far as, okay, what are the monthly goals that I have, and how can I use challenge groups in order to help me achieve those goals? So I think that was a really great way of looking at it that I never really considered, to be honest. So maybe that's something that you and Lindsay can kind of talk about. I don't know what Lindsay's strategy is if she has one, but.
Yeah, for us, we usually will start at the beginning of the month. We pushed ourselves a little bit too much last time. I like to have a week in between our challenge groups to kind of like decompress and focus on other aspects of the business, whether that's following up with the challengers, you know, for the coaching opportunity, or just kind of reestablishing your template for the next challenge group. So I think having a week buffer is great. But again, that's specific to 21-day fix. You're not going to have as many orders probably from like the other programs, since 21-day fix is so popular. So I think it depends on what's being promoted that month and things like that. But I would say 1 to 2 a month, like one 21-day fix one. And then if there's another program going on, then that too, maybe.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And like I'm saying, starting it maybe like the first or second.
Yeah, the beginning. Yeah.
In order to have that push in. So you want to have that push maybe at the end of the month. And then the other great thing that this coach was saying is you can do the same thing for coach sneak peeks and new coach. Everyone calls them something different, but for our team right now, it's called the Coach Training Academy. So basically having a 5-day sneak peek close to the end of the month, right before the training starts. So there's no, you know, time in between where the person can't jump in and get started. So thinking about your business in that way and planning, and that, which I think actually takes a lot of stress off of things too, because you're working very orderly. I know I like organization and like try to organize it in my mind as much as I can instead of being scatterbrained. Because I've been really scatterbrained in this business, not and it's weird to me because I've been successful and that's usually not how I operate. So these were really great tips for me. So if you guys can incorporate these into your business, I really think it will help a lot. So, do you have any other questions, Cynthia? No? So I just want to leave you guys with this little quote or saying that I found. So it says, the secret is first deciding what it is you want, envisioning it, and then deciding to run after it wholeheartedly and unapologetically. Set your standards high and don't accept anything less. That really spoke to me today when I saw it, because again, visioning your why and why you guys got started and why you want to continue to keep doing this, like, you always have to be connecting with that. And it always has to be changing depending on what's going on in your life in order for you to be able to connect with it. And deciding to run after it wholeheartedly and unapologetically is so close to my heart and big about this, because when I was telling you, like, people didn't, in my family and my life, just didn't understand why I wanted to be a Beachbody coach. And some of them still don't really get it, to be honest. And every coach goes through this moment. And if you're a new coach, it will happen eventually. It happens in a different form for everyone. But for me, it was like posting on Facebook and people not understanding that, and, me quitting my job when I had a really healthy income, to start my own, like, doing my own business where, I believe that it's going to be successful and I know where it's going, but, like, my parents don't really understand that, right? Like, they don't really get it. So really, really connecting with, like, your passion for this, guys, and believing in the opportunity and believing in yourself is so important, because, this call is about overcoming your fears. And when you have these moments, please reach out to me or reach up to your upline coach and talk through them. And don't just shy away from the opportunity if this is something you love, and change your mind with doing it. Honestly, it's one of the toughest parts of this business. I'm not going to lie. Because if people start to doubt you, you might start to doubt yourself, and you might start to doubt this opportunity. If they don't believe it, then you might not believe it. But the key is that you guys, and this is why personal development helps so much. And I think the older we get too, the more we don't really care what other people think. But this is why it's so good to connect with why you're doing this and how much passion you guys have for it, and how much it actually has changed your life and the good that comes from it, and being able to, explain that to people. And, I tell people in my life, I don't need you to completely understand it. I just need you to respect it. And these are people that, obviously are really close with me, that I love. And, I wouldn't ever want to hurt that relationship with them. The biggest thing that I literally have gained from this is not caring so much what other people think. And like I said, having my own voice and understanding that this is my journey, okay? This is your life. You do it with whatever you want to do with it, guys. No one should be telling you how you want to live your life. The day that I stopped allowing my parents to tell me, well, Heather, you should be staying in this advertising job and your next level is director and that's really good. It's not what I wanted to do. Like, I just was like, oh my God, I hate my life. It's draining. I'm just living this mediocre life. I'm not happy. Like, I'm not doing anything exciting. Like, advertising seems exciting, guys, but it's really not too exciting. So, once I stopped doing that and I started connecting, like, what does Heather want? Like, what do I want? When I asked myself that question, it scared the shit out of me, but, like, I was super excited once I could finally connect with it and figure out, like, this is what I want. This is what I want to be doing for so many reasons. You guys don't even have to have as many reasons as I do, but for so many reasons, I know this is what I want to be doing. One of my big reasons is seeing your guys' faces right now. Like, do you understand how amazing this opportunity has been for me to connect with people to this level and lead people, becoming a leader? Like, that's something that I don't take lightly, guys. Like, I started this for the reasons I told you before, and I love the health and fitness part of it. I always wanted to help people, not have eating disorders and be able to live a healthy, balanced life. But once I started coaching, I developed this whole new passion for helping people develop this life too. It's amazing. Like, it literally is amazing. And I can't imagine never not having this in my life. So I just wanted to leave you guys with those words. And I really appreciate you all calling in tonight. And, it's so great to see you all, and thank you so much for being here, and thank you, Lindsay, for sharing your story again.
You're welcome. I'm going to take a selfie real quick. Hold on. All right, good.
All right, guys. I hope everyone has a good night. I'll post the recording in the page, too, for anyone that didn't make it.
That was a loud click. Was that Carrie?
No, I just took a picture, too.
Oh.
They never come out right, though, because I always, like, try too hard to, like, look cute. And
I
then, so, but thank you, guys. Have a great night, and, you know, reach out if you guys have any questions or whatever. I'm always here.
Bye.